The Du Bois County Council is continuing to work towards preventing future budget shortfalls. More on that, plus a Kentucky smelter that employs people from our southern viewing area is shutting down temporarily, and Jessica Hope is tonight's guest for Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. We begin with the ongoing budget shortfalls in Du Bois County and the County Council's effort to prevent more of them in the future. The County Council held another lengthy discussion on the matter earlier in the week. Of course, this is the second year in a row that Du Bois County is facing a budget deficit. It was $1.6 million this year after being around $1.3 million last year. Now, Councilman Craig Greilich stated earlier this week that the council should start taking some sort of action on budget cuts at each meeting going forward. He says the idea is to avoid having an even bigger budget hole to climb out of next year. This year, the County Council had to make some $1.7 million in reductions and moving of items to county edit funds to avoid shortfalls. Council President Greg Kendall says budgeting for needs and not wants will help the county in both the short and long terms.
Government is here to support and do things that people need, not necessarily what they want. You know, everybody wants this and everybody wants that. That doesn't mean the government needs to be the ones to buy it. To me, private industry should be doing things. Private individuals should be doing things. The only way you can keep taxes low is not keep adding things on. And there are a lot of things that we've added, but they've all been mandatory things that the people need.
The 2016 general fund for the county originally came out to just over $9.7 million. The cuts brought it down to around $8 million, the same as it was last year. The council also gave employee raises at $15 bi-weekly for full-time employees and added an assistant security officer at the Du Bois County Courthouse. A public hearing on the budget is coming up September 9th. It will likely be adopted at the council's September meeting. Huntingburg Stellar Communities projects continue their move ahead. The city has advertised requests for qualifications for the Market Street Park project after recent approval of final design reports by the city's Stellar Committee. Mayor Denny Spinner says the city will be hearing back from engineering firms within the next 30 days. Additionally, Spinner says the city is currently putting together requests for proposals for the 4th Street Heritage Trail project. Spinner says those will be going out within the next couple of weeks. Spinner says the recent movement has slightly adjusted the timeline for each project's completion.
As the timelines go, if all things would go well, the Market Street project would be a 2016 project, and we expect the 4th Street project to be somewhere in 2017 based on the funding availabilities from the Department of Transportation.
Spinner says the differences in timing are largely due to funding and the organizations involved. The Market Street Park project will be funded through the Office of Community and Rural Affairs, whereas the 4th Street Heritage Trail is funded through the Indiana Department of Transportation. Of course, design concepts for both the 4th Street and Market Street projects were unveiled back in June. The planning was coordinated by Taylor, Seifker, and Williams Design Group based in Indianapolis. On a final note, Spinner says the city is also moving ahead with its street department relocation effort. The city submitted its funding application for that project to the Federal Emergency Management Agency this past Friday. The project also includes a safe room in the event of bad weather, something that Huntingburg currently does not have. Spinner says the Indiana Department of Homeland Security, who is also helping with funds for the project, considers this project a funding priority. Thus, Spinner and other city officials are hoping to get an answer on funding by the end of this year. Officials with the Tri-County YMCA have announced the creation of a new endowment to support its programs and operations. The new endowment is being started with the help of the Du Bois County Community Foundation. In a news release, Tri-County YMCA Executive Director Mike Steffi says the Y is setting the stage for its future growth. Steffi says the endowment was part of the Y's strategic plan and gives donors the chance to contribute to the organization's long-term stability. Of course, the goal of the endowment is to be a permanent source of funding for the Tri-County YMCA. This endowment will generate a grant to benefit the Y every year, forever. The Tri-County YMCA serves Du Bois, Perry, and Spencer counties. It focuses on 3 different areas, which are healthy living, youth development, and social responsibility. The overall mission is to utilize Christian principles which build a healthy spirit, mind, and body for all. For more information on the endowment or to contribute, you can go to dccommunityfoundation.org. You can also call 812-482 5295. Ferdinand residents are being encouraged to attend a meeting later this week that town officials say will go a long way towards laying out the future. The Ferdinand Town Council is hosting the meeting coming up tomorrow night. It will be from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the Ferdinand Community Center. Town officials will first go over what has been accomplished with the current comprehensive plan before taking public input to shape the next plan. Now, the town is looking to put together this comprehensive plan, which will cover the next 10 years. It will largely involve making updates to the current plan, which the council adopted back in 2007. The effort is being facilitated by Kathy Kleindorfer of Evansville. Of course, tomorrow night's meeting is the latest of several meetings that have been held. Kleindorfer and Town Council President Ken Seacard have led 3 small group meetings to date. These were with students, businesses, and volunteer nonprofit organizations. Seacard says, though a lot has been accomplished over the last 8 years, more needs to be done, including a more concerted effort to attract young people to Ferdinand and DuBois County. He says it all starts with better promotion.
Some of us started off as a factory worker and then have advanced from there. And that's what we got to do. We have to show our children what this community has to offer and then encourage them to come back. You know, yeah, we kind of want them to leave first a little bit, go out, sow their oats, and then come back with all that knowledge and then put it to work here in DuBois County and the town of Ferdinand.
Some of the early ideas that have come out of the group meetings include more affordable housing, adding sidewalks along Main Street, and making a run at the Stellar Communities designation sometime down the road. A northern Kentucky-based company who employs some residents of Perry County and surrounding areas has announced plans to shut down. According to the Perry County News, Hawesville-based Century Aluminum announced yesterday that it will temporarily close its smelter at that location over the next several weeks. The smelter currently employs some 550 people. Reports say the company is closing the smelter due to a recent collapse in aluminum prices. Company officials stated the price collapse has come about due to overcapacity in China and improper export of Chinese aluminum, which has heavy subsidies tied to it. A company spokeswoman says the closing may be reconsidered should current aluminum prices improve significantly. The company will provide employees with help as needed. Now, Century Aluminum says employee layoffs could begin sometime around October 24th. All metal-producing operations are expected to be stopped by Halloween, October 31st. Century Aluminum says the Hawesville facility is the largest U.S. plant that the company has. According to a 2011 survey, the plant generates a local tax revenue impact of more than $2 million. Well, the news isn't all bad for Indiana, at least when it comes to the recent Ashley Madison hacking scandal. Data scientist Jake Popham looked at where Ashley Madison users said they lived and organized a graph showing which states spent the most per capita on the site. His data found that Indiana spent less than $2 a resident, which came in 37th out of 50 states. Alabama was number 1 in Ashley Madison spending at more than $5.50 a capita, more than $1 ahead of second place Colorado. West Virginia spent the fewest dollars per capita on Ashley Madison at less than $1. There is a potential catch to Popham's data, however. Alabama is the first state in the drop-down menu for setting up an Ashley Madison account. Thus, Popham says people setting up accounts with fake addresses could automatically choose Alabama since it's at the top. Actual addresses are not traceable in spite of the recent leak. And finally tonight, our thoughts and prayers go out to the families and friends of a Virginia TV reporter and cameraman who were shot and killed during a live TV interview early this morning. The shooting happened at around 6:45 a.m. at Bridgewater Plaza in Franklin County, Virginia, when reporter Allison Parker with WDBJTV out of Roanoke, Virginia, was interviewing the executive director of the Smith Mountain Lake Regional Chamber of Commerce on tourism. Parker was in the middle of the live interview when reports say at least 8 shots rang out. Parker and her cameraman, 27-year-old Adam Ward, died from their wounds while the woman being interviewed, Vicki Gardner, went into surgery for treatment of wounds that she suffered. Multiple media reports say the shooter was Vester Flanagan, a disgruntled former station employee. Again, our thoughts and prayers go out to the families and friends of Allison Parker and Adam Ward. Weather is coming up next.